Hey everybody, welcome back to another weekly Tuesday video. So a couple weeks ago I posted on my Instagram that I had sort of cracked the code to tuning, or at least tuning my filters, and a couple people were asking about what I was doing to fix that and how if I could explain it more in depth. So I decided I would make a weekly Tuesday video out of it. So this is that video. So basically we're going to be going over what filters I run and how I tune my filters. And so let's get right into BetaFlight, and we'll check out what I'm running right now and how I fix things that are not quite right in my filters. So I'll see you over in BetaFlight. Okay, so here we are in BetaFlight. We're just going to go ahead and connect to our quad. And the first thing I'm going to go and check out is in my PIDs and just make sure that nothing is crazy out of the ordinary for my PIDs. So everything looks pretty normal. I'm running BetaFlight 3.5.3 if that helps. I don't believe these are stock. I think I have played with them a little bit, but nothing drastic enough to cause these little jittery kind of oscillation vibrations that I'm getting, especially at like high throttle or in really intense environments like high wind is where I'm noticing these more than anything else. It flies generally pretty smooth, but I think it could just be a little better overall, and the footage especially could be just a little smoother. So that's what I'm trying to tune today. So with that in mind, we'll go into our filters and we'll just check out what we're running for filters. I actually don't run any gyro filters. I run notch filters instead, which we can go over and check that out here. Let's see. Here I am running the dynamic gyro notch filtering. So I turn my other gyro filters off, which is generally recommended. However, huge disclaimer, of course, if you're ever playing with things as touchy as filters, you always want to test fly your quad for around 30 seconds just to check motor temperature. I really don't want to be responsible for you burning up your motors, so please check your motor temperature before you do anything drastic or any high throttle or anything crazy like that. So whenever you're tuning filters, make sure you check your motor temp. Okay, so now we can go over and check what I'm running for my D-term low-pass filters. So here, this is about stock for D-term low-pass cutoffs right here, around 90 for the first and around 200 for the second. And then for my D-term notch filters, my center is at the default of 260, and I have a cutoff frequency of 160, which is essentially going to give me a band that centers at 260, and it's 100 on either end. So it goes down to 160 and up to 360. So that'll be my band width for notch filters. And I'll show you what that means as soon as we enable the black box and go for a quick flight. So for black boxing, you want to run, or I at least will be running an onboard flash. If you have an SD card, you can definitely use that. But I am running the Joshua Bardwell F4 stack. So I am limited to the onboard flash in that. Because I'm going for a relatively quick flight for tuning, I'm going to go full resolution and go 8 kilohertz logging rate. You can definitely run less if you think you're going to fly longer for your recording flight, but 8 kilohertz should do for the amount of time that we usually are going to fly. So I'll save and reboot that, making sure I have my black box enabled there. Boom, okay, all good. And now all you need to do is go for a quick 30-45 second flight just to make sure that that you can get enough data in your black box. So that's what we'll do. We'll go on a quick flight. Sure that's okay, so like I said, we'll just take off and fly for around 30 seconds. You can definitely put the quad through its paces in this first test, knowing that you're on the basic or the stock filters and mostly stock PIDs as well. So you usually don't have to worry about burning anything up. Just gonna do a quick little invert here. Okay, so we're already at about 30 seconds. Give some quick high throttle punches. Alright. and we'll see if we can bring her back now, and then we can look at those black box results. Okay, safe landing, and now we just have to go check out the black box results, so I'll see you back over in BetaFlight. Okay, so now we are back over in BetaFlight, and what we're going to do is we're going to go right into our black box here, and we will look for our onboard data flash chip here. Here it says we have used space about 8 megabytes, which is about perfect, half of the capacity there, and it shows that we actually recorded some data, which is good. So we're going to save our flash to a file, and we'll name it BB1, because that'll be easy to find later. And now we just need to save our file, so we'll wait for this to load. Okay, so now we're here over in Black Box Explorer. So we're going to open a log file or video that we found. Here's our BB1 file. Okay, and so it's going to load this in, and here you can see that it looks really short, and that's because we are accidentally on the little blip where I armed the quad for just a split second, like I always do. It's kind of a habit just to make sure everything is running smoothly. So first we have to select that proper time frame for the flight that we actually did. Now, I'm definitely no expert on black box setup especially, and so if you want a full rundown on the features, this is not the place for you. If you want a quick explanation as to what you should be looking for, then I'm here for you on that. So when looking at graphs, you can definitely add a bunch of different things, different parameters and stuff to look at, but I really only want to look at the motors. So we'll add that graph, and we can go back here. So we'll look at each of the individual motors, and it should, wait for it to load here, should bring up a little graph over here in the lower left corner like that. So we're going to pull that up to full screen, and now we can see kind of where the noise is peaking on each of these. So looking at all the motors, it generally looks like they're about the same, that they're having noise peaks in the same areas. So a max motor noise of around 166 hertz, which would be kind of over in this region here. And then we also have a second peak kind of in the 600 hertz range, give or take. So knowing that, we can go back into BetaFlight and mess with our filters given these parameters. Okay, here we are over in BetaFlight again, and we just want to look at our D-term low-pass filter again. So here I've turned it up to about 150 to accommodate for that that huge spike we were getting around 166. I suppose I could turn it up a little more, but I think this is going to eliminate most of the noise on that side by cutting it off, essentially, because this is the cutoff frequency anyway, so it should exclude noise below that 150 mark. And then down here for the second spike that we were getting, I've set the center frequency around 600 for the notch filter, and with a cutoff of 500. So that's going to range from 500 to 700 hertz, giving us a healthy band of exclusion, hopefully damping out most of the noise in that second spike that we were getting. So through these two filters, we should get most of the noise cancellation that we're looking for. Now really the only thing left to do is to go fly it again and check the black box one more time. So we'll do that, and I'll see you right back out there. Okay, so I've taken our last flight back into the black box and into BetaFlight again, and so we're just gonna check out each of the individual motors. So here we can see where our it's kind of tough to see this thin blue line, but we can see where our first cutoff is, and it looks like it's excluding almost all of this noise or damping it down, which should have helped in the flight quite a bit. And then our second cutoff is somewhere around here, and that is essentially excluding the entirety of that noise column minus some small stuff here. As we can see here, it looks like the noise from this peak that used to be here is greatly reduced, although we still kind of have some greater peaks over here. So maybe in future tuning, I would shift this down to shift the center down to about 550, and then maybe make the cutoff a little bit bigger so it had a little bit wider band to cover that spectrum of noise. But overall, that's a huge reduction in noise, and we can see it kind of working on all four motors here. This one still would benefit from having the center move back a little bit and the cutoff expanded, just to really take care of all that. But as you can see, overall, this had a huge effect on the noise going into the motors and into the quad from the motors, and I think it's making our quad fly quite a bit better here, especially now with these new filters. Okay, so I hope that video was helpful in some capacity at least. I hope it gave you a better idea of kind of how filters can be used to black out some of that noise and prevent some of that noise, especially from getting into your flight controller. So definitely rewatch this video as many times as you need. It was a little confusing for me to figure out at first, but I think this is a relatively simple way and definitely a good first step once you've gotten past kind of the key tuning components like PIDs and new props and stuff like that. Also, definitely check out filters as a way of taking care of your quad, and make sure you subscribe and check out my other videos. I'm doing Tuesday uploads now, so definitely check out those other videos and subscribe so you stay up to date on the videos. Thanks for watching, everybody, and I'll see you in the next video.